Hey, my friends, it's Dr. Groovy. Yeah, up there. Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. Today, using my weapon of choice, that's right, the Reverend Warhawk 390. Okay, that's what we're using, made out of Carina. Okay, I'm going to use the neck P90. You can actually use the bass contour knob and go to regular like Strat single coil sounds, but I'm going to a P90 sound today. You're going to break up the little Fender amp I have back here, which is the G-Deck amp. I have a lot of fun with that little amp. But anyway, today just going to stay in the key of C, do some country bends, a couple I've done before, some other ones not so much. Actually going to be doing some where you ride the very edge of the top edge of the fretboard. If you make the bend, you'll be, right on the edge. If you overshoot it at all, you're going to fall off the edge and your string will fall off the edge, literally. But it's fun to just ride that rail, if you will. And I'll do some cool blues things and show you how to do those little licks that sound, they're kind of minor-ish, even though we're going to be in a major key. No backing tracks or anything today, just show you the licks and how to get a couple strings going at the same time that are very dissonant sounding, that should not work, but they will. So two strings bent together in a couple places. And that kind of stuff. So just some stuff that the doctor here normally would show you, but if I've done many of these, it's been a long time. So welcome to the new subscribers, and if you haven't been following the archives, yeah, this will be new to you. So let's go do that voodoo that we do so well. All right. Okay, so this is about all you're going to see of me for a while, and if you hear this squeaking, yeah, that means the oil's running off on my drum stool. Okay, anyway, going through, like I said, through the Fender G-Deck amplifier back here behind me. Has a lot of preset backing tracks and so forth in it, but just want to use that today instead of turning on the big rig. Okay, so the stuff I'm going to show you today, we're going to have like this, so you can decide whether to run or stay. Okay, if you're doing like blues or country blues, okay, if you're sitting there going along, here's one of the more extreme things where I told you things would get dissonant. So if you're in the that kind of thing's going on, it's cool to actually do, instead of, okay, that's cool, and I'll show you that because it's cool to have the C go, which is actually a step and a half bend, okay, because you'll hear people playing, it's like, man, what is that note that's doing that? Usually, yeah, it's the root note. It's, so in C today all the way through, it's going to be that C going up to the D sharp, okay, or E flat, okay, and that's minor, of course, but it doesn't matter. Major and minor pentatonic crap comes up to the blues scale. Okay, so we're doing blues country, and with that in mind, okay, so those would be the dissonant things we do where we have the two strings going at one time. First one being, second one, okay, and then we're going to be doing, like I said, right on the edge of things. Okay, we've got a C here, and we're going to actually take the A string and move it upward. And we can actually do the whole chord. you go slightly too far, see, because you hear it pulling right in tune right before it drops off the guitar neck. Right there. And so, yeah, it's actually riding the edge of the fret in order to make it pull in tune. Why would you do it there instead of going down here? I'll show you at that there, but if you happen to be up here somewhere and you're already there, you might want to do it. Plus it's very cool. And all the way down here, show you how to do this low end string stuff, and plus how to do like okay, which is very cool. And if you take away the C, so the A string altogether, okay, so you can bend the G up to A, and you can do the E up a half step, okay, up to F. So the E up to F, and the G up to A. Okay, so those are cool. And how to do stuff like from way up here at the C in the B string and G string all the way down to the C part of this chord. Okay, so you got it's just a cool thing to have, and it's nice to actually start in something that is in the correct pitch instead of just picking somewhere out of, you know, the blue to just say, okay, I'm sliding. It's nice to actually start in key. Okay, so let's do these things. First ones, of course, are going to be these dissonant deals. Again, just playing in C. Okay. Okay, we have to actually bend these things from the points that are behind them. So you're going to have one finger on the B string at the 11th fret, and then another finger, your ring finger, at the the 13th fret of the B string. Okay, hammer onto it. Lots of vibrato is also welcome if you want it. Okay, and the reason I'm putting both fingers on there, because you got to hammer on. Plus, it definitely helps when you go to make that big bend. So you're going a step and a half, 3 frets, all the way up to the D sharp. So 3 fret bend. Okay, so you're probably familiar with the other licks around it. If not, it's just the next string down on the high E string doing the same thing, but only bending up a whole step, 2 frets on the high E string. Not quite there to the E for the bend, but like I said, E flat. That there's called a rake. Okay, that's where you actually rake your pick across the strings, but it makes no noise because you are palm muting it. Okay. And again, a lot of shaking going on. Whole lot of shaking going on. That's always a good one to throw in with it. pull off from 13 to 11 on the B, just to the 12th fret of the G, which is the G, of course. Another nice one, same thing as, but you're just stopping on that one. So it's only going a half step. Okay, so the bend here, another one, another one. There's another one there, so you can bend them all. When it goes to the G string, I like to bend it downwards myself, because you can almost get a step and a half out of that one. Okay, now the dissonant notes are going to be the string downward. So if we're going, okay, we're going to grab both strings, so the E string and the B string. Now I've got them both together under my thumb. No, not under my thumb, under my fingers. Okay? Okay, so you just take it up, grab them both. Okay? That's all it takes. Just push your E string up, grab them both, and now we're going to start jerking them. Okay? Okay, so instead of, now we got, and the other one's going to be the same thing, but we're actually going to do the string above, so the G string. So we're going to take the C note, and on the B string, go up, grab the G string, get them together, and do the same thing we were just doing. Okay? And you can let them ring. It's kind of a cool tone on top of the C note. So you can pull down, you can pull up. So they're very different sounding depending on which way you bend, because if you bend down, you're actually going to hit that G string first. If you're going up for some reason, you hear the B string first. So one's got a lower pitch sounding, because you're definitely hitting that G string first. The other one, try to hit the B string. So now we got, and if you want to, coming right out of that, we can go to putting your middle finger on the G, again, 12th fret, leave that finger on the C note. Now, bring it back to what you were hammering on, so we're at the 11th on the B string. So now we have a 7th chord, C7. Okay, so now we have 4 chromatic walks. Okay, so it's just something to think about. And then but anyway, the point of this is, number one, to simply show you that we can take that C note, and that's the one that sounds the best in my opinion, being bent up that step and a half. Of course it could be bent up the step. But whenever you want that really extra stretched one that you know is going to make your guitar go out of tune, unless your strings are stretched like they're supposed to be, then we go for the big one. I actually went up to E, which is, of course is fine because we're actually in C, and we have C, G, and E in the whole chord, okay? So that was 2 whole steps. Okay, so let me see. Knew that one was going to be out. Okay, we're in there again. Okay, so now from that, which is very cool, and don't forget real quick before we go, cool to do that just from the before you land. The typical thing. Okay, so that's where we're going with that. Okay, the next one that I think I showed you during the intro, yes I did, is to get the C on here. We're going to actually take the pinky on the B string at 5, and everything else is just going to stack on top of it. So your ring finger at 5 on the G, your middle finger on the 5 on the D string. We can actually bend the D string upward. Okay? So it's just kind of a neat sound. Okay, and that's again the same thing we were doing up here. Okay. Okay, by doing this one here, you just make like an E shape. So do an E, and you actually just move it all the way up till you're at C by using your D string as the guideline here. So on your D string, you're at the 10th fret, which 12th fret is D, so go back 2 and you're in C. So you use the exact same E chord shape. Just move it up now to these 2 are at the 10th fret, so you got, and just move your ring finger upward, but don't fall off the edge. Okay? It's just a cool bend, and we had the thing back here where I was going, okay, that's actually taking the low E string. Okay, we look like we have an E chord again, but now we've moved it up. So we have middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, your ring finger at the 3rd fret, just right below it on the A string, and then our 1st finger on the D string, 2nd fret. Okay, so I'm hitting the low E string first, pre-bending, half step down the D string, releasing it, hitting the A string, and then the low E. And I like to really palm mute that. And then grab the G string at the end of that one. Now, okay, and now palm muting it. Okay, and out of this, if you take away the C note, okay, on the A string there, it's cool to get the notes that are surrounding it. So you're just simply getting rid of that, and you don't want to hit the A string. Okay, you're like, why can't you just leave your C note there? You can, but if you want to go bending it up, you can't, because it runs into the low E string. Okay. Okay. Now here's the reason actually for the C note being gone, is we're going to actually take the G note and bend it all the way up to A. Okay, you'll actually get rid of this one too. You can do it that way. Okay, of course you can play that anywhere. Any group of strings on the A string as well. Right there we're actually in F though, because your ring finger determines the note or the chord. So F. Okay, so I went ahead and bent the other thing. Let's go back to the C one, since that's what we're supposed to be in, the CC Radder. You can actually take the root note, which is C this time, at the 3rd fret on the A string, and bend it downward. Okay. Bend it a whole step. So you're actually doing this. That's what you're actually playing. Okay? So you can leave that C there if you want while you're hitting the G. And then get it out of the way. You could even if you can get them together, if you start bending the G string down, or the G note down, so you can grab the C note, and they'll pull in tune together because you bring the E string down. As soon as it touches the A string, so you see how that works. And again, of course, that can be used anywhere in any formation, and leave whatever string in or out. Okay? Now, for this little thing I said where we go up and have an actual thing where you hit an actual note, not just anywhere, but to do that, there's actually grabbing, we're going all the way up to where C is on the G string. which will be at the 17th fret on the G string, and just play the B string in the same place at the 17th fret. I like to actually go with the first finger, okay, because I don't have to. In picking up strokes, I like to do on this too. Okay, if you do it quick enough, all the way down to the 8th fret, so it's going to be the same two strings because you already picked it. They should still be ringing. And then when you pull this down, it's mainly going to be the G string that bends down, and that's going to pull it from a minor to a major. So it's like going, okay, so you have, and then finish it out by hitting the C note again at the 10th fret with your ring finger. Okay, again, I like to do it just as a simple slide, and don't hit it again. Just hit whatever you're going to hit. And it doesn't have to go very many times. I do it usually just once or twice tops in a song, because if you've got more than one solo, use a different set of tricks, but that's just cool. Okay, so you can see 2 bags of tricks from the stuff we learned. Okay, we're back at tune again. Okay, so that's basically it. I just wanted to show you some stuff in C that will work in your country and your blues stuff. Okay, and don't forget your typical. Okay, if you're like, what is it? This here's one that's been shown a million times. Pinky and ring finger at the 8th fret. Bending the ring finger up a whole step. Okay, this here's the crossover from country to blues by having a little bit of hair on it. Sometimes it's kind of cool, kind of 70s if you got hair on it still. Grab that G string in there at the 7th fret. And then back to the C, 5th fret, G string. But if you want to, this is cool. Okay, you're going major there. You can go minor, or you can grab the minor when you get to the C. Okay, so if you're going, now switch positions. Put the ring finger on the C, put this one behind it. So you can get that step and a half, and now we're in minor. Okay, so see how that falls together? So lots of cool stuff. The main thing that I wanted to show you was the step and a half going to the minor on the C and getting these double strings in. Get that Stevie Ray shaking going on. I like to up pick that one. And that's just the next set. Okay, so there you go. That's what I'm going to show you today. Hope you thought it was groovy. I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Okay, again, hope you found that groovy. I like doing that stuff. It's definitely something I use a lot when I'm playing live. Like I said, country. I always mix a lot of blues stuff with the country. I stay mainly just like Jimmy Page, Ace Frehley, you know, all the guys that stay with the pentatonic or the blues scale or the major pentatonic, minor pentatonic blues scale, all basically the same thing, and they all made great careers out of it. But then again, it was, you know, the 70s, but you know, they're legendary for it. So there you go, some of those licks from then. So people ask me, why does your fingers, the whole thing, look weird when you're finger picking, or just, you know, doing the country chicken picking stuff? That's because whenever I finger pick or do that, I do the Gene Simmons sign. Dio was like this, Gene Simmons was this way, and there's a reason for that. Gene did not mean to do this, but I do. I play with my pinky and that finger and my thumb, nothing else. I don't do the other things unless I put my pick down. But usually I won't put my pick down because I like to play with the pick and fingers throughout the songs. And I love to use my thumb instead of a thumb pick. But here's what's going on. I tuck my pick right under here, under these two fingers. So that's why I play with these for the guy that asked. And again, this is why Gene Simmons does this. He puts his hand up to wave at folks. And he plays with a pick all the time on his bass. And that's why it looks like that, because he's just tucking his pick. That's all it is. He didn't mean to rip off the Dio thing, which Ronnie James kept trying to sue him over. But Gene's thumb was out like this. Had nothing to do with some kind of satanic thing or anything. He was just waving high. Okay, so that's why I do it. That's what happened with Gene. It's just hiding a pick. That's all it is. So anyway, you guys be groovy. Hope you enjoyed the licks and hope you'll use them more than anything. Stay healthy out there in these weird times we're in here in March of 2020. It'll do what it'll do, and we'll do what we do while we're all cooped up. Okay, so herpy trails later.